In February 2024, the Newcastle University Students' Union formed a new disability policy. Let's see what the reaction towards this new policy are. Will the change have an impact for the ones it is designed for? Stay tuned to find out.
Overall, I think it was really well thought out and a very important policy. I think the disability rep who came up with it, Leo, did put a lot of time and effort in. I really appreciated its emphasis on the diversity of disabilities, because I think disability as a category is often used to other and homogenize different groups of disabled people that in reality don't always have a lot in common. And I thought for including a list of disabilities, for example, while of course it's not exhaustive, really did highlight how broad the category is. And because it's such a broad category, the policy also emphasizes the diverse needs and preferences of disabled people. One of the quotes I really liked from it was, no two students have the same disability or access needs, even if they have the same diagnosis, they're going to have very different needs and accommodations. And I think the university's disability team does do a really good job.
How should a university provide a safe space in general from their end?
So I think, of course, it's important for universities to make sure that every part of university life is accessible for disabled students and staff, but they also need to, provide additional spaces because obviously disabled people will have additional needs.
I went to Disability North in Newcastle to interview the information advisor about their thoughts on the new disability policy. Here's what they had to say.
I appreciate the new policy. I think in relation to individuals who don't identify as being disabled, like myself, I don't like to place emphasis on disability. I'm not in disagreement with those who do, but I just think disability isn't one of my main characteristics. My main characteristic is being Liam Alexander and not my disability. So I appreciate that they've included that into their policy. From that perspective, people should be more aware of the language that they use when communicating with people with disabilities. However, what is taken out of context is the fact that sometimes, in order to cope with individuals, in order to cope with their disability, can use language like that to help them cope with their disability. So there's quite often times where I joke about my disability because that is a coping mechanism. And so I completely understand people need to be aware of the way they communicate, but I wouldn't say to people, don't use that language, because that's individual freedom of expression, and I am someone who is pro freedom of expression. I think universities should provide support with mental health and well-being.